Welcome everyone, and welcome to everyone at home viewing this to Brick by Brick, presented by Parvis, and today HoneyTree. We're really excited to have David Atwell from HoneyTree here to talk to us today about their really unique and interesting product and the way that they view real estate investing and the technology they're bringing in. First things first, quick disclaimer, just down the bottom there of the slide. So none of the contents intended to provide and should not be relied on for investment, tax, legal, or accounting advice. There's a longer disclaimer elsewhere, but we'll leave that one there to go. Moving on to who am I and who's Parvis. So I'm Scott. I'm the head of growth at Parvis, and I'm working with Dave and others on our platform to really showcase how great their investments are. So Parvis is a technology-driven real estate investment platform, and we're exempt market dealer licensed in all provinces. What we're doing is bringing institutional quality real estate investment opportunities to eligible and accredited investors across Canada. And what we really are hoping to do, and what we're working really hard on, is to make that process as simple and as quick as possible for everyone involved. We're bringing a lot of technology to the space, and we're getting some great feedback from everyone involved. So thanks to our current customers, and looking forward to making more of you tonight. For more information, visit parvisinvest.com. I'll pass it over to Dave. Dave has a very interesting story about the origin of the name of the company, which was unknown to me at the time before we spoke. And like I said before, we've spoken for 5 or 6 months now with the business, and they're doing some really, really innovative things. So excited to hear what Dave has to say tonight.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's a pleasure to be here. Just want to start off by saying I'm so honored to be on the Parvis platform. As soon as I met David, the CEO of Parvis, and the team, I knew this was definitely something I wanted to be a part of. The platform's fantastic, and what you guys are doing for Canadians is something I'm very proud to be a part of. So thank you so much for having me, and it's a pleasure to be on Brick by Brick.
Thanks for the kind words.
So to introduce myself, guys, my name's David Atwell. I am the founder of HoneyTree. And Scott, could you just quickly allow me to share screen again?
I sure can.
My name's David Atwell. I am the founder of HoneyTree. And for those of you who don't know, I was formerly a beekeeper. I got into real estate as a way to actually save up to buy a farm. So that's a young photo of me. That's about 14 years ago in my early 20s, working on a bee farm. And I quickly learned how expensive real estate is and how expensive farms are. And I had no idea how I was possibly going to buy one. And I quickly learned about real estate, buying student rentals, and I realized the only way I'm going to do it is by growing my wealth and growing my equity to be able to buy a farm. And of course, money doesn't grow on trees, but if you plant the seeds and you take care of them, eventually a tree will grow. And that's the origin of the name HoneyTree. So I began my investing career at the age of 24, and I started with student rentals. Today, assets under management are just over $70 million. I began with student rentals, shifted into multifamily, and now I'm in this fantastic space of hospitality, which we're going to dive right into. There's been a lot of stuff happening in that business, and we really do have a great product and opportunity ahead of us. So what is HoneyTree? HoneyTree is a first of its kind real estate investment trust dedicated to buying hotels and Airbnb investing. Now, I need to be very clear. We're not buying condominiums and houses and operating on like Airbnbs. It's nothing like that. We're buying specifically hotels that are zoned in commercial zoning and permitted to operate as hotels. And we use some fantastic technology and automation to really drive the value of that real estate. So that is who HoneyTree is. For those of you that don't know, hospitality is about to completely change. This is something that's been going on since about the mid-2010s, and there's tons of technology and automation that's happening. But right now, today, specifically in the next 5 to 10 years or so, you're going to see a lot of changes happening in the hospitality business. And of course, why is this happening? COVID, the pandemic changed absolutely everything. It changed how consumers travel, how they want to check in, how they want to be greeted and interact with people. In other words, they don't want to be greeted and interact with people. Also, what they need in their rooms. We now live in we have lived in the global environment for many, many years now, but people are now working remotely more often than they were prior to the pandemic. And creating a hotel product that caters to these people is very important. And being on trend with our hotels is something that is very important. And this is all a result of the pandemic. So the top three things of how hospitality is changing. Number one, consumer preferences. Government regulations. Guys, this is so important. We're going to dive into this. This is actually a massive opportunity with the Airbnb ban and something I love. Most people think that it's actually a bad thing for hotels. As a matter of fact, this is a huge opportunity. And of course, artificial intelligence and technology. There's so much cool stuff happening with ChatGPT, and it's only making our hotel real estate more and more valuable over time. And so as a result, we see a massive opportunity. The hotel business is about to completely change. And by positioning ourselves in front of that growth and buying these hotels, we're going to be changing with it and growing with it. So let's dive into how consumers are changing and what their preferences are. So as I mentioned, with the pandemic, it no longer makes sense for guests to walk up to a front desk of a hotel and be greeted face to face. During the pandemic, that was obviously far more concerning, is potential of getting sick or whatever, getting COVID. But now it really just reinforced the point that travelers really don't care. They can help themselves. They can get through the front door on their own. They don't need to be greeted. And that costs a lot of money to do that. Now,
if I can interject there, Dave.
Yeah.
I took a trip to Montreal in August and I waited for about 15 minutes to check in, and I was just shaking my head wondering why it took so long for them to just go through such a simple process. And everyone was frustrated in the foyer, and there was about 20 people there just pulling their hair out.
Can you do me a favor and tell me which hotel that is? Because I definitely want to buy it.
Yeah, be happy to.
And to put that into perspective, I mean, each hotel room can have upwards of 100 guests per year. And if it takes 15 minutes per guest to check in, it's 1,500 minutes just to get them through the door. Imagine the labor costs on that across the entire operation if you have dozens of rooms. It doesn't make any sense. Additionally, so consumers are now working remotely. What do they get when they walk through the door? And there's this new concept that's emerging called the extended stay hospitality model, which we'll jump into shortly. But a guest needs to be able to set up and work from home. They need to be able to prepare their own meals. I mean, a perfect example, cost of living is so high and it's through the roof right now. People can't afford to go to restaurants for 3 meals a day. So you have to be able to provide them with something to prepare their own meals and give them a space to work remotely. And as a result, you're going to see people traveling more, they're staying for longer, but they're staying in their rooms and doing more activities there, and then they're going to explore outside of business hours. So let's jump into the extended stay business model. What is the extended stay hotel? It's a completely new asset that's emerging over the past 10 years. And effectively, it's a hotel room that looks and feels like home. And you can see a photo on this slide here. We have a 4-foot kitchen with a small area to hang your clothes. This can create so much value for guests. And this is effectively what an extended stay room is. The hotel room that looks and feels like home, and it has those at-home amenities. And so I'd like to show you an example of a before and after. When we go into a hotel to buy, okay, there we go. This is what we see. The photo on the left is the before, the one on the right is after. Now, of course, in my opinion, the one on the right is far more comfortable. It's a lot brighter, has nice lighting, it has at-home fixtures, and of course, there's a small kitchen in the corner. Which room do you think is going to be more favored by guests? Of course, it's the one on the right, and then this is at our hotel located at 2024 Saint Denis. which is near completion, and I can't wait to dive into that because we are at the point of having proof of concept, and we'll go over that shortly. And of course, so what are the features? So self check-in, you have to feel like you're living, you have to feel like you're a local living at home. So a self check-in experience is very important. Kitchens, space to work, the living area, even access to laundry. People want to travel with less luggage. So if you can do your own laundry while you're there, your guests will be far happier and they're going to pay more to be there. And then of course, having local art and decor. I mean, the point is to feel like a local. So if this feels like Montreal or Quebec City, again, you're going to get 5-star reviews. Now, what's the point of all this? What's the benefit of all of it? And for me, as a real estate investor, that's really all I care about. How am I increasing my net operating income? I have 2 jobs: increase revenue, decrease expenses. So when we have this extended stay model, our guests are staying longer. So traditional hotels, they stay for about 2 to 3 days on average. Extended stay, it's 3 to 5. How does that make it cost less? Well, we're not cleaning it as frequently. We're only cleaning it about on average 70 times when they're staying 3 to 5 nights, whereas previously it's about 100 departures that we have to clean up after. So we're saving a ton of money. And then of course, increased income. Our guests are paying more. We're giving them better amenities. We're giving them better value. Overall, people are coming through the door and they're paying more. Now, one of my favorite features is downside protection. I don't like risk. You know, buying a hotel has been proving it could be a risky investment, specifically during the pandemic. I mean, that became a great time to buy hotels. Well, if all of your rooms are outfitted to look and feel like home, they can now operate as multifamily. They can operate as a student residence. They can operate as furnished executive rentals. We have all kinds of opportunity to pivot because there can be volatility in the hospitality industry. And so this is one of the things that I love about this asset class. Looks and feels like multifamily and can operate as a hotel.
That's a super interesting point that I never even considered before this.
And that was one of the first reasons why we looked at this asset, because at the end of the day, we are multifamily investors. But now we're so frustrated with multifamily, we thought, how can we improve? And this is one of the best ways to do that. We're getting enormous cap rates and revenues, and we're protecting our downside. So the question of the day, why is now the time to be investing in hotels? I mean, we have high interest rates, we have a desperate need for cash flow, and multifamily is overvalued. But of all reasons, why is now the time to be buying hotels? Because of the Airbnb ban. Now, not a lot of people seem to realize this is a massive opportunity. Airbnb is being banned across the world from residential dwellings and preventing them from operating on the platform as a short-term rental. And so what that means is our competition's being eliminated. We have fewer and fewer illegal Airbnbs that our customers can choose from, and they're coming directly to our door. So this is a fantastic thing to happen on all fronts. It's fantastic for hoteliers, and it's fantastic for society in general. All of that housing that's on Airbnb right now should be removed from the platform immediately and allow people to have homes to live in. So let's look at some of the current Airbnb laws. And a lot of Airbnb investors are going to be in a lot of trouble. And there were many people who bought cottages during the pandemic. And unfortunately, they're going to be in a bit of hot water. So the rule states it has to be your primary residence. It has to be your bona fide primary residence, which means it's on your driver's license. This is where you get your mail, and you're bringing somebody into your home. Can only operate for 180 days per year maximum. And you are faced with massive fines for non-compliance. In Quebec, it's $50,000 fines for individual and $250,000 for corporations. It's very clear the province is not messing around, and you should not be taking homes away from people to operate as an Airbnb. It's incredibly unethical.
Just to clarify on that, Dave, is that just Quebec only, or is that across Canada?
And so this is most major municipalities. These laws here specifically are Toronto, but you'll see almost all major cities have followed suit. So New York City was one of the latest. There's many cities in Europe, and this is pretty much being a blanket agreement across the world.
Right. Thanks.
And so why are they being banned? It's to preserve affordable housing, as I mentioned. And these are great things for us. We have less competition. We have better accommodations. They're safer. We're licensed, legal. It's fantastic. And as an example, this is what this looks like. So last year in Quebec, now this isn't Quebec, this is Brooklyn, there was a fire in an illegal Airbnb where 7 people were tragically killed. And the province of Quebec stepped in right away and forced Airbnb to shut down all of their illegal Airbnbs. They weren't registered with the CITQ, it was blackout. And this GIF on the right here is an example of what that looked like for us. We owned 23 licensed rooms at that time, and overnight our competition just went away. It's a very, very serious law, and it's fantastic for the hotel business, which is a great reason why we should be investing today. Now, of course, there's technology. Technology is changing so many things. And this was just the beginning of our journey into the hotel business. In 2018, I visited a hotel in Montreal that used a digital concierge, and that's when I really started to look at this business model and started to learn about the hardware and the technology. Everything from smart locks, smart lockers, kiosks, room occupancy detectors, smoke detectors. We can have the right people at the right place at the right time, which is going to drastically reduce our cost of operation. And this is hardware that's existed for a very, very long time. At-home technology, well, okay, maybe the past decade, but now it's being updated more for the hospitality business, and it's creating great opportunities for us. And even operationally, I mean, this is one of my new favorite things is robotic vacuums. We can have a cleaner show up to a room, turn on the robotic vacuum. They can go tend to other things. They can clean the bathroom, do the laundry, whatever. We're reducing our cost of operation quite drastically every year as technology gets better and better. And of course, what that means is we have happier guests. They're leaving better reviews. They're paying more. But as real estate investors, our net operating income is going up through the roof, and it's becoming more and more profitable every year. Now, I think this is one of most people's favorite topics. Most entrepreneurs are loving the concept of artificial intelligence. And how is this going to change the world? I think as a savvy entrepreneur, every day we're looking at ChatGPT and thinking, how can we make our businesses more profitable? How can we make real estate more profitable? And when I look at the real estate market or industry in general, I'm thinking, okay, which businesses are going to benefit the most from ChatGPT? And at the top of that list, hospitality, customer service, where you can have a knowledge base of all the information for your hotel, and you don't have to actually pay a human to interact and provide that information to a guest. This is a massive way to increase value of a hotel. Not to mention actually creating a custom and curated experience for your guests. So as ChatGPT is integrating with Facebook, we can actually know what those people like, and we can create a curated experience for them. And on the next slide, I'm going to introduce something that's really cool that's starting to be brought into hotels across Canada using this concept. And then this is the concept of the shoppable stay. So when you're in a hotel room, you're actually in a mini showroom. We can create brand collaborations with companies like Article, EQ3, Casper Mattress, whatever. We can become a referral agent and effectively have a drop shipping business right in our hotel. So our guests come to our rooms, they love the artwork on the wall. It happens to be from the Banksy of Montreal. We can now sell them that piece of art and have it fulfilled directly to their house, and we're earning more revenue. You know, as a sorry, Scott, I see you want to jump in.
I was going to say, I remember looking at the pillows, or my wife was looking at the pillows at a hotel room where we were somewhere, and she was like, "Where do we get these? These are fantastic."
Exactly. And now when you stay with our hotels, you're going to be getting a notification that says, "Hey, did you enjoy your stay? Check out the items that were featured in your room, and you can
Wow,
buy them right here, right now." This is one of the coolest things about investing in the hotel industry today.
it's a great
And
idea.
and bringing that back to the multifamily business, when I'm underwriting multifamily deals, it's really simple. What's your income? Rent. You may have a couple other items, coin laundry, parking, storage. Maybe you have a billboard on the roof. For us, the possibilities are endless. We can create so much additional revenue through our shoppable stays. And so what that looks like is a shoppable room. Like I said, the pillows, the blankets, the forks, the knives, whatever, everything that you find in the room is now something that can be purchased. Taking
Is
that
it
as, sorry,
is
go
this
ahead, Scott.
something you're doing already, or is this something that's in the pipeline?
This is something that's in the pipeline, and it's built into our digital concierge that allows us to transact these purchases.
Awesome.
And so what we do is we create strategic partnerships with these brands and say, okay, we're going to buy these items from Article, and we're going to present them to the guest. And Article is one of the companies that we are working with.
Excellent.
Now, to take this a step further, it's not even just the shoppable room. You have a shoppable community. What's in the area that's really good? What's the best restaurant? What's the best cafe? On the screen here, you see Le Cafe Big Trouble. They're one of our tenants. They're a tenant at one of our buildings. And so what we do is we actually connect the digital concierge to their menu. And as a guest, you can order food directly from them, and they'll bring it up to your room. So now we have a 2-star hotel that feels and functions like a 3 or 4-star hotel. We're creating better value for our guests because, let's face it, if you're up late partying and you want coffee and a breakfast sandwich, you don't always want to go and get it. And now you can buy it right through your phone, right through your TV, and have that come directly to your room. And that's not just limited to Cafe Big Trouble. And guys, everybody, please check them out on Instagram. They're a fantastic group of restaurateurs, and they run some of the coolest bars in Montreal as well. But there's a great brewery across the street as well. So, okay, you're arriving late and your flight was late, whatever, and you want to have a charcuterie board in your room, or maybe you want to have a beer and wine package, or maybe you want some snacks for you and your partner. Well, you can actually order that directly, and we can anticipate your arrival and make these recommendations for you. And as you're arriving, you're making these purchases, and they're being compiled or curated and delivered to your room.
I imagine you get quite a lot of support from the local business and communities as a result of these initiatives.
So sometimes I will arrive at one of our hotels prior to having our digital concierge, and I will see brochures littered all over our lobby and menus, right? Because of course they know there's 50 people staying here. Let's get them to buy our food. The local community is going to be thrilled by having us as a neighbor, which is going to make us very popular in the neighborhood, but then our guests are going to be super happy. At the end of the day, a hotel guest wants to live and feel like a local, and having this technology will allow them to do that. Now we can take that even a step further and have a shoppable city. This connects back to artificial intelligence. So let's say you integrate your Facebook, and we now learn a little bit about Scott, and it turns out Scott loves hockey. Well, we have the data from the city of Montreal to say, here's what's happening this weekend. There's a Habs versus Leaf game. You can go to Boda Boda. There's an art gallery that has a David Bowie exhibit. We can get to know our customers using artificial intelligence and find the right excursions and experiences for them. Because when you're on vacation, you don't want to think about it. You just want to go enjoy your trip and have a great time. Having this technology is incredibly valuable for that. And it's really what's going to drive the value of the real estate. All of this ties back in to owning more profitable real estate and making better real estate investments.
And that honestly addresses a huge issue of going to a new city, is not knowing where to eat, not knowing when it's open, all of that stuff. Even I've been to Montreal 3 or 4 times now, I still have that problem.
Yeah, and not having the time, or like you're there to relax. You just spent an hour on the plane or 6 hours on Via Rail. Okay, maybe you could have been on Google looking things up, but you have better things to do and better things to worry about. And frankly, we know the city way better and we have the data. So let us do that for you and present a great itinerary. And as we get to know our guests using AI and Facebook, you're going to get better information and create a better experience.
Brilliant.
So for all of these reasons, now is the time to be investing in hotels. It's going to be an extremely small window. I gave it about 5 to 10 years before they're all shifted over. We have generations of older entrepreneurs who refuse to change, and they're beginning to retire and sell their properties. Now is the time to buy hotels. So what do we look for? This is a great example here. When I see a front desk with a printer and some keys, I'm buying it.
Yep. See, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of those.
There are still a lot of these. So number one, it has to be a great location. Downtown, Quebec City, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, any major tourist destination has to be a great location. That's never going away. You can't just buy anything. It has to be amazing location. Outdated design, that's one of the fastest and easiest ways to improve your revenue, is just by getting a better design. And working with companies like Particle to get their furniture in there and feature designs in there is a great way to refresh your room and make it Instagram worthy. Front desk staff, okay, that's number one. If you can remove the front desk staff, you're making a ton of money. Poor online presence, always Google the hotel that you're buying and read the reviews. Look at the photos. Look at the WordPress website that they have. It's probably not very good. And if it isn't, that's fantastic. That's exactly what you want to see. You don't want to buy turnkey. Well, I mean, you can buy good turnkey hotels, but you want that value add. And even meet the owners. I mean, if you speak with them, you'll know exactly what type of operator are they. Are they squeezing every drop of profit out of that hotel? Or are they more laid back? They know they could charge $30 for parking, but they don't care. And they go on vacation for 2 weeks. And they know they could convert the kitchen into another room, but they don't care. These are great things to be looking for. Now, here's an example on a live deal. They say a photo is worth 1,000 words. Can anybody guess how much money this photo is worth? It's worth upwards of $2 million.
Wow.
And again, you did not see that coming. And I'm going to show you the math on how that all works. I'm going to go back to that previous photo for a second. I mean, you see a crappy hotel lobby, but there's about 7 or 8 key features that we're looking at there. So number one, the desk. Number two, is it a large space that could be another room? Number three, in the back there, we have the keys. That's one of my favorite things to look for. Do I actually see physical keys in the back, or do they have smart locks? Number four, you can see the Visa and the MasterCard sticker on the back. Scott, when you arrived to your hotel reservation and you waited 15 minutes to pay for your arrival,
yep.
It's completely unnecessary.
Good.
Number five, brochures. Who wants a brochure? We have brochures right here. It's called your iPhone. You can get all that information spoon-fed directly to you. This one even has a little computer in the corner. And actually, that's not even the first hotel that I've looked at that has this. People still do this. And then they have cable. Like, don't pay for cable. Nobody wants that. So as a perfect example, minimum wage 24/7, spending upwards of $140,000 per year just to have somebody sitting at a desk. Instead, we take that salary, move it off site remotely, and we can manage 8, 12, 16, hundreds of hotels and rooms, all from one place. And on top of that, we're automating processes. We're using artificial intelligence. So when you need to know how to get to the bus or where parking is, it doesn't even touch a human. It just goes directly to a knowledge base and provides the guest with that information. Now, here's another great example of before and after. So this is the first hotel that I acquired, 2024 Saint Denis. Photo on the left, you can see that desk. See the desk, you can see the printer, somebody sitting behind there. We haven't turned it into a room because the city has capped how many rooms we could have at this hotel. So now it's just a cool, bright lobby, place to hang out, wait for your Uber, whatever. But the point is we've saved over $140,000 per year with this hotel. Now, something that's very exciting and is news as of about Monday this week is we've just had our proof of concept on this hotel because we now have an appraisal from Altus that has shown the increase in value. And so this is 2024 Saint Denis in Montreal. We still have potential to add 4 suites, and we actually haven't even put kitchens in all the units. We've only added 5 kitchens in out of the 23 rooms. So there's still value to be added to it. But I want to go over the details with you guys. We purchased it for $3 million in 2021. We spent about $1.1 million on it. It was just appraised for $7.1 million, which is absolutely insane. In hindsight, we could have done that faster. We still had some issues with the pandemic because we were still locked down for the first year of ownership, and getting the right teams and crews in place was proven challenging. But even with all that, we have the proof of concept right here, and our investors are going to be getting notified of this week. So this is something that's extremely exciting and offers a ton of promise.
It's a fantastic result.
It's enormous.
A short time.
It is, and we can still add 4 more rooms. So this is approximate value of about $308,000 per unit. We can still add 4 rooms. So there's another $1.2 million right there.
Wow.
The anticipated revenue or RevPAR was $100. Now, for anybody that's not familiar with hotel lingo, RevPAR means revenue per available room. What you do is you take the annual revenue, divide it by 365 days. I don't care about the fluctuations. I just want to know on average, what am I getting every single day? And $100 RevPAR was what was anticipated for this deal, which means $36,500 in revenue per year. We're hitting $125 on average, which is significantly greater. Yeah. And we haven't even added in all the kitchens yet. This has really just come from removing the front desk staff and automating the process. And one last thing that makes this even better, banks are finally lending to this asset. And I've been having nice conversations with banks for the past 2 or 3 years.
I'm sure you have been.
Trying to explain to them why they should be exiting our private financing. Well, we finally have banks who said, okay, the pandemic's over. We see 2 years stabilized income. We're ready to exit your money. So for all of these reasons, now is the time to be buying hotels. And this is the time to be investing with HoneyTree. We've invested with thousands of Canadians with our friends through Addy Invest, the crowdfunding platform. And we have the proof of concept. We're ready to go to market. There are fantastic hotels to be acquired. And right now, it's not the deal flow that's the issue, because I'm finding them. They're not listed on the market. It really is getting the right partners in place to help us acquire them. So what are your next steps? Well, reach out to Parvis. We're honored to be on the Parvis platform. Reach out to one of their dealing reps and learn more about HoneyTree and determine if you're suitable for the investment. And if you're an accredited investor, eligible investor, you can invest your RSPs, TFSAs, and other registered funds or cash. We'd love to have you on board and at least meet with you and speak with you so you can learn more for yourself why this is the right asset at the right time.
Brilliant, Dave.
Thank you.
Very impressive. A lot of things I didn't know. And I know your product reasonably well, but not as well as that. That's for sure. That's fantastic.
That's why we have webinars, so we can share everything that we've been doing for the past 6 years, because there's quite a lot.
Yeah, isn't it? If there's any questions from the audience, feel free to just drop them in the chat there. How do people book the hotel? Which you didn't really touch on that at all.
Yeah, so at the moment, we're bringing on our operations team called Enero from Quebec City. So we've been operating with our in-house team solely on Airbnb. So if one of our investors wants to book with us, they would contact me directly, which many investors have. We put them up in a room and they enjoy
That's
their
pretty
stay.
cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Soon we'll be on the Anero platform. They're managing our hotel in Quebec City, and they're soon to be coming across to Montreal, and you'll be able to book directly with Anero. And something we do want to build out is some sort of customer loyalty program, where if you're an owner, you should have some benefits from staying at your own hotel. That is something that we really want to build out further with Anero. It's almost like a loyalty program.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't see any other questions. I think, yeah, you've done a really great job tonight. Thanks for being part of our first webinar of 2024. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate having HoneyTree and yourself and Mark on the platform, and looking forward to a great year. And yeah, thanks again.
Thank you so much, Scott and Zoe. Great to see you again. It's a
Awesome.
pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. Goodbye,
Great.
everybody.
Bye.